Hello, my name is Daniel Levy, and this is my Creative Critical Reflection, otherwise known as my CCR for AICE Media Studies AS level. So CCR question 1 is, how does your product use or challenge conventions, and how does it represent social groups or issues? Now, before I answer CCR question 1, I'd like to define, what is a secondary group? And a secondary group is a group characterized by shared goals or interests, which will be critical in the upcoming answer that I will be providing. So this is the answer to CCR question 1. And basically, my product uses conventions of romance and represents social groups throughout the entire production. My product has a clear representation of secondary social groups, which refers to groups of individuals who often share similar interests, which in our product, the similar interest refers to the love for cars. Also, it correlates with the use of the romance convention regarding two individuals falling in love based off of their societal interests and groups. And this can sort of show a transition from secondary groups into primary groups since of that level of intimacy that is being developed throughout that would be developed if it were to be a full show and not an opener. Now, to back up my answer, I have used the Bomber's Concept article/case study, and according to the Bomber's case study, it mentions a specific section about groups. It says that people can be identified as members of groups. Also, it says that people can form significant emotional connections with others in their own groups. This clearly proves how my production/product is represented by secondary groups, as the two individuals share similar interests, evolving a significant emotional connection to one another, backing up my answer to CCR question 1. To add on to these ideas, our production clearly represents these social groups through secondary groups and so on, and how they can develop emotional connections throughout. So moving on, these are some clear examples of how social groups were represented throughout our production. So for example, the start of the opener shows both the girl and the boy doing a morning routine as they are correlated to each other. Also, small hints show that both individuals have a passion for cars and love them. This shows the social groups or secondary groups that are represented throughout the opener. And to piggyback off of this, throughout the entire first half of our production, it is shown both the boy and the girl doing similar things throughout their morning routine, their daily lives, to show how those connections truly evolve and become something. And what I mean by become something is the relationships can become some sort of level of intimacy, and how these relationships that are developed can be developed through shared interests and shared goals, such as the love for cars, which is shown in our production throughout, which is how our clear representation of these social groups evolve into emotional connections through one another. Also, I'd like to add on that we clearly use the conventions of romance, and we properly use it, as throughout our production, it is shown how both characters have a love for cars, and that's how they end up meeting at the end through that romantic genre convention of romance. Also, our use of bright colors, proper music and sound effects, and our title Fast Love hints towards the beginning that our opener is truly about romance. Not only this, but it makes it obvious and clear to understand that our genre convention is romance.